How's that?
There you
Did I do it right? Okay.
Nailed it. It's kind of on there just barely.
Is everyone ready?
I don't think we are.
Okay.
I'll ask you the same spell.
Oh, no.
That'll be the first question.
That's the first
It's
test.
the easiest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
Good. I am Sergeant Dawn Jones with the Kansas Missouri Police Department, DAWN JONES. So we were asked to talk with everybody today about catalytic converter thefts. We have seen a dramatic increase from 2019 to 2020, and we are on track to see an even bigger increase in 2021. What those numbers look like is in 2020 we had over 900 catalytic converter thefts in the Kansas City area citywide. In January of 21 we had 200 alone, putting us on track for 2,400 in 2021. So we don't want that. What you see behind me is a show and representation of all the resources that are being put into these investigations. So we have area agencies, state and local, from both the Missouri and Kansas side working on this. We meet roughly monthly and we email back and forth almost daily, collaborating with our intel. So the reason catalytic converter thefts have gone up, you've all done your research, is because the price of metals has gone up. Okay, we're hoping in time those prices will go down and this will slow it down on its own. However, in the meantime, we wanted to talk to the community about what they can do to minimize the risk of being victims. So there are a couple devices out there that you can do. There's an alarm system that wires into your car. So if someone gets underneath it, it will activate an alarm. And you can even sync it to your phone or some technical stuff. There's cat defenders, and there's a cage type system that can be mounted on and around the catalytic converter itself, minimizing the chance of it being cut off and stolen. So those are great options. You can get them at auto part accessory stores, online and locally. One of the biggest things we can ask for is to report these thefts immediately. We are recovering catalytic converters throughout the community at a fairly high rate, and we're unable to match them up to reports because the reports are delayed, sometimes up to 5 to 10 days. If we get the reports and we recover catalytic converters, we can then match those up. And whether that's in a car stop and we identify those suspects, we match it up to that report, and then we can work on charges. The Missouri state statute for buying and selling catalytic converters is extremely clear. You have to have legal documentation and proof of where that catalytic converter came from and how it was obtained. We are monitoring the scrap yards, and we are identifying the scrap yards that are violating this Missouri state statute. We also have hundreds of catalytic converter thieves in the Kansas City metro area that we have identified, and we are working on investigations with them. Jackson County Prosecutor's Office is being very proactive with us on working on this situation. So by statute, tampering in the second degree would qualify for a catalytic converter theft. They're preventing that vehicle from moving by removing that catalytic converter. That is a Class F felony, and if a suspect has a prior conviction for tampering, it would be a Class D felony. We are hoping other counties will follow suit with what we're doing with the tampering charges on these catalytic converter thieves, and hopefully that will minimize. Another trick that was kind of brainstormed in with Nate Bradley from the Highway Patrol is a UV pen. A UV pen that can write on metal, and you can put a personal identification number on that. On the catalytic converter that's only seen with a black light. If you get your catalytic converter stolen, when you file the report, you give us that number and we can then match your converter up immediately. Surveillance and ring videos are so important, and I think we're going to have a CIO speak with you also about some things you can do in your neighborhoods, and they're going to go over more of that. We don't care how we get the videos. If there's a ring video and you want to put it on Nextdoor or some of the social media apps, that's great, but we need to get it in some manner. It needs to get to the investigators. So I will give this over to the CIO.
Hello, officer. I'm the CIO officer, Aaron Whitehead, for South Patrol, which is Community Interaction Officer. Like Sarge said, we are with our CIOs at each of the stations. We are already integrated into the community. We have a lot of contacts with the community. There's probably a lot of you that already have seen our face, especially out in South Patrol. We connect with us for just coming to maybe the neighborhood meetings. We are happy to come and do that and discuss some of the different tools you can use and crime prevention tips. The different things like Sarge was talking about, just the cat strap, and there's different tools you can use, but also the video. We are happy to accept that and get it to where it needs to go. You can get our information off of the kcpd.org website. It's underneath the contact us, and just go there, and our email's on there, our phone number is on there. We're happy to connect with you in any way we can to try and to help with solving this situation before it gets even worse out of hand. So that's about all I have.
Anybody have any questions? Anything they can think of right now?
Yeah, can you talk about how you guys work with prosecutors just to make sure that these crimes are prosecuted?
So when we do our investigations, a lot of times we're going to need to do search warrants and maybe different types of warrants throughout the whole process. So they get a pretty good heads up on what's coming from that. I work out of the Central Patrol Division, and we have a prosecutor that comes to our weekly crime meetings. So I am able to chat with her every week about investigations that are ongoing that I think could be presented to them for charges in the very near future.
Follow-up. I don't know if you can answer this question, but how successful are those charges in being actually carried through?
The most recent one I'm aware of, I think it was Overland Park, correct me if I'm wrong, was able to get a catalytic converter recovered and back to the victim, and it's extremely successful. Tampering in the second degree is a very clear statute. If you disable a vehicle in any manner and it inconveniences the owner, then it's tampering in the second degree. So I think as we get more leads and we get further into investigations, I think we'll be extremely successful at getting cases filed.
Just more of a seasonal thing too. I'm guessing you're probably going to see more people out and about trying this whenever it's a little bit warmer. Maybe fewer people doing it with negative 10 degrees outside. Were you expecting to see that uptick as the weather gets better?
I would have liked to have said that during our extreme cold Arctic blast we had. I still had a lot of numbers. I think warmer weather may help us because I think people are outside more, and you're going to have people walking their dogs in the area that may be able to witness this and deter the crime from happening.
In general, how much can they sell them for, and how much does it cost to repair them? I assume it's hundreds and thousands the other way. Is that correct?
So the prices of metals are always fluctuating. Right now, it really honestly depends. There's an entire spreadsheet from the scrapyard that covers it is a wide range, and everything depends on where the catalytic converter came from.
But to get them repaired, it's obviously much more than
Right. Repairing them, we're getting victims reporting anywhere from $500 to $2,000. That doesn't include the fact that they have now been without their vehicle for 1, 2, 3 weeks, waiting on a catalytic converter to come in so it can get fixed, having to tow their vehicle to a repair shop. Those kinds of things are a big inconvenience for our citizens, and we realize that, and we want to stop it.
Can you just take us through what the role of the county prosecutor is in all of these cases, how you guys work together to make sure those charges are prosecuted?
Right. So like I said before, any search warrants are needed like that, we go through them. Once we get the investigation together, we present a full case file to them, and it is reviewed for charges. In custody or as an anytime case, it just depends on different factors that may come up in the case.
Real quick, can you just expand again on the importance of video in the neighborhood and ring doorbells and surveillance and that sort of stuff?
So collectively in the metro area, we share those pictures of those vehicles with each other, which gives us a great advantage of knowing, what vehicles are being used maybe in what parts of town, which then we can relate to the patrol officers. Hey, we've got a white, I'm making this up, white Silverado that's hitting mostly in Midtown. Okay, then we can redirect resources for patrol, for area presence to hopefully deter the crime.
Do we have a visual aid back here? Can we take a look?
Oh, yes. Yes. That is what a catalytic converter looks like, commonly mistaken for a muffler. It is not a muffler.
If somebody knows what they're doing, how long does it take them to get one of those off?
I would say roughly 2 minutes.
So it's pretty quick.
It is. Anything else?
Could you bring that to the side a little bit? There we go. Thank you. Sorry. And do they just torch them off? I mean, hacksaw them or torch
Cut.
them? Or...
And to be clear, we can match these up to vehicles. It's difficult and it's time consuming, but it can be done. So if we have the reports and we have the converter, we'll be able to figure out where it came from.
Are there any new, manufacturers knowing this is a problem, trying to combat this when they design cars? Maybe put a VIN number on it or anything like that, or trying to design them in a way where people can't get to them as easy that you know of?
Are you aware of anything?
The International Association of Auto Theft Investigators has engaged the manufacturers group, but that's 10, 20 years down the road before that becomes implemented, and these would have a specific serialized number back to that VIN.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.